I told you in the previous video that I would make another video telling you how Kevin and I met, because since the vlog is about our wedding, it kind of makes sense that you should know what started the wedding. So, Kevin and I obviously have different points of view on our meeting because he always jokes that he saw me way before I saw him. But this is my point of view. I was at school when I was 15. I was a sophomore. And I was sitting on the steps waiting to go see my friend. And I had one of my close friends walk up to me, and our normal was to hug each other. So I smiled and talked to her and gave her a hug. And out of nowhere, this strange guy walks up behind her and says, "Can I have one too?" And I realized that sounded really weird. It probably was weird, but for some reason, I didn't think twice. And I said, okay. And I gave this strange guy a hug. Again, I know, don't hug strange people. But apparently it worked out to my benefit in this case. Because that kid, all of a sudden he was everywhere. And Kevin says he was there everywhere to begin with. I just was too stupid to notice. But I figured, 15-year-old mind, no way he's gonna like me. He's just some kid, So completely overlooked him. And so this other ended up being an idiot. This other guy showed up and asked me out. And so I was like, okay, whatever. So I started going out with this guy. Like I said, ended up being an idiot, total jerk, didn't treat me right. But at the time I was like, whatever. And, but this strange guy was always around, was always there to talk to. And, started feeling more for this strange guy than my own boyfriend. And I don't want to sound like I cheated on my boyfriend, because Kevin and I never did anything. Never even thought about doing anything. But he was a better friend than my own boyfriend was. And of course, the boyfriend got a bit, what would the word be? Intimidated? Yeah, he didn't like that another guy was better to me than he was. And of course you can't start being better to me. You gotta just get mad. So, eventually, and looking back, this doesn't make sense. I don't know why I did this, but again, I guess it worked out to my benefit. One day I was walking down the walkway, and Kevin said, "Can I have your number? Because I only talk to you at school." So I gave him it, and jokingly said, "Don't tell my boyfriend." And walked away, knowing that my boyfriend was right behind me. And so the boyfriend, of course, saw this and went crazy. And moral of the story, that night, the boyfriend ended up saying that he basically, I wasn't good enough for him, and dumped me. And I wasn't all that upset because, like I said, he was a jerk, and I was honestly relieved to not have to deal with his anger and just jerkiness anymore. So then this number kept calling me, and I was just like, whatever, And it just kept calling and calling, and during the breakup, it was calling. And so after the breakup was over, I was like, fine, whatever. Didn't even think who it could be. And so I answered it. And, as you can assume, it was Kevin. And so, of course, I'm like, you kind of got me dumped, but I'm not sure I care. And he's like, I'm not sure I care. And so we continued to be friends. We we kept talking, but it was different than any other boyfriend. I mean, I didn't have that many. I had only started dating that year, but it was like there was this walkway, and we would both walk down it to go to opposite sides of the school campus. And when we were on the walkway together, if we passed each other, we would acknowledge each other, but then we would always turn around and smile at each other. It was just our thing. It was totally cheesy, and I realized that, but it was something that nobody else had ever done. And so he kept saying, we should date, and I was like, I gotta ask my mom first, because that was the rule that me and my mom had, was I would ask her before I dated somebody. And so I kept putting it off, and he was like, come on, just, would you just date me, or would you at least ask her? And I was like, oh, I don't know, it hasn't been that long since, the previous boyfriend. And he just was like, please, So I was like, okay, I kind of want to date you. And so I asked my mom, and she was like, yeah, he sounds like a good kid. And so I went back to school and was like, okay. And so he was like, all right, well, we're dating now. And so our first date was at a skate rink. And it was so much fun. It was fun from the first moment. At one point I was trying to skate, attempting, and I fell flat on my butt. And he was trying to help me up, but I was laughing so hard, I was just making it worse for him to try to help me. And so one of my biggest memories from our first date is us just on the ground laughing hysterically. And so then our first picture together was actually there because we were just sitting at the table, and my mom was like, let's take a picture, it's your first date. Because it was actually literally my first date ever, because none of the other boyfriends had ever taken me on a date. So Kevin was not only my first date with him, but he was my first date to begin with. And so he just threw his arm around me, and we took a picture, and little did I know that picture was going to be in everything. And so then later, after the skate place, we went to Sadie Hawkins, actually, together. And our first dance there was to Brian McKnight's Back at One. I think that's his name, Brian McKnight. Yeah. It was so cheesy. But, yeah. And so we danced there, and we had this amazing night. Except for the fog that they put at the dances made me sick. And so, yeah. I should have known that from the first date that we were gonna last. But, of course, you think everybody's gonna last, but this one I was right about. And, yeah, he's a good guy. So, yeah, we dated for, well, that was 4 years ago. And we went through a stupid patch, I guess you would call it, at the beginning of the relationship. And, while my stupid patch was at the beginning of the relationship, I didn't appreciate him. And I regret that. I regret ever not appreciating him. Because, at 15 you think, whatever, you can throw him out. And I think every girl deals with that. But the problem is that, mine could have really messed up my life. But luckily it didn't. And his stupid patch was right before our year anniversary. Where, for matters that don't matter, we broke up. And, but what matters to me is that we got back together. Because as soon as we were broken up, we were still hanging out together. We still wanted to be with each other. We were just stupid 15-year-olds. Because he's the same age as me. So, we went through, it was probably, it felt like forever when you're a broken up 15-year-old, but it really was maybe 2 weeks, maybe even 1 week. I don't even know. It was not that long. But of course, like I said, to me, it felt like, oh, years. So we pretended like we didn't want to be with each other, but eventually one day he was like, I made a mistake. I'm so sorry. Can we get back together? And so we started dating again. And I thought about leaving that part out of this video because it doesn't matter, we're together. But I think it is important to the video because it proves that, you know, I'm not like, oh, everything is perfect every second. And so I didn't mean to just totally zone out on you, but my computer made a noise and it threw me off. Anyway, no, I thought about not putting it in, but it's important to our relationship. You know, it's not something either of us are proud of, but it happened. We got through it because that's what happens when you've been dating someone since you were 15. You do 15-year-old stupid stuff. But I can definitely, honestly, truly say that since we've gotten back together, things have been fine. You know, we're not perfect. We make stupid 19-year-old mistakes. But we do it together. And not a day do either of us ever question our relationship. You know, because I fully believe that as long as nobody is abusing each other, cheating on each other, doing that kind of stuff to each other, that we are going to stay together for as long as God lets us be together. As for our proposal, it's going to sound really bad, but I cannot actually tell you. People really don't want me to finish this video. Kevin just called me. Alright, I'm not ready to get this video done. The proposal. Yeah, not proud of it, but I can't remember the date. Like, I'm the type of person that puts down, you know, exact dates in her calendar so she can remember it. And for some weird reason, I didn't put that down. And I regret it because, you know, that's kind of a big thing. But I can tell you the exact proposal, though. And I guess that's what matters. I want to say that it was my junior year. So, you know, after we've been dating a year or two. We had been talking about ever getting married and, you know, being committed and all that stuff. We've talked about this since day one. Our life's been planned since we first started dating. But, and everybody was really, we were in an RTC together, Junior Reserve Officer Training Corps. And, everybody was just really on edge, I guess would be the word. Like, not bad on edge, just like really excited. And I'm a control freak. I like knowing why everyone is doing something. So I was very suspicious, but... And so then everybody was talking about when class got out. You know, everybody was supposed to go to a certain spot, and I was just like, what? And I remember somebody was joking about him proposing to me, and I was just like, okay. And as you can see from my my profile picture, that he took me to the grass area in front of our school and got down on a knee. And I remember joking with him, thinking I was funny. When he said, will you marry me? I said, I don't know. And the look on his face, he was like, what? But of course I said yes. And so he gave me a ring. Beautiful ring. And I've gone through a lot of rings in our relationship, and you don't notice, you know, it at the time, but for some reason, and I'll tell you why. I had a pink ring. It was a heart. Well, no, before that, I had a promise ring. It was a silver band with I think he called it a black diamond. It was a black stone. Oh, it was really pretty. It was something he had had for a while. So he gave it to me as his girlfriend. So then we got engaged, and so I got the pink one. And so then for our 3rd anniversary, there was this more expensive one, and so he got that one for me. And again, gonna make myself look bad with this ring, but we were talking about engagement bands, and I told him that I wanted him to choose it, surprise me, woo, big hoopla, you know. And like I told you before in the video, that I'm a control freak, so I should not have done that. Learning moment, because poor Kevin came home one night with flowers, and he stopped at the door and was like, you know, put the stuff in your hand down. And I was like, oh, like I knew what he was doing, you know. And the problem with this was that I had found a ring that I wanted online, and I was going to wait for him to come home so I could tell him. And he was about to propose. See the problem there? So, oh my gosh, I broke his heart, and I feel so bad because he was like, "What's wrong?" And he proposed again, would be the word. And I was just like, oh. Not the reaction he wanted, not the reaction any man wants. And he showed me the ring, and it was a beautiful ring. Don't get me wrong. He picked out a really beautiful ring, but it wasn't my ring. It wasn't the ring I had been looking at all day waiting to show him. And so, of course, I get so upset. He gets so upset because he's like, okay, like, what do you want me to do? And he went back and got me the ring. He needed a little help from my mom, but I can't blame him considering he technically had just bought me a more expensive ring, and now he was going to buy me another one. And I regret not being honest and telling him, like, don't do it, I'll just tell you what I want. But I don't, because in that moment he proved that he was willing to do whatever to make me happy. Like, who does that, you know? I mean, he could have very easily, and no one would have blamed him if he was like, I got your ring, deal with it, you know. And this is my final ring. It wasn't that I planned on getting, 4 rings. That wasn't my plan. I'm not one of those I'm not happy with what I got. It was just, I don't even know. But the ring I got, I love. And it already came with a wedding band, so I don't have to worry about that. And he has his wedding band now, which I'll show that to you in a different video. But yeah, like I said, I don't regret what happened with the ring, because he proved that he was willing to make me happy even after I totally ruined his plans. And he still got points for the flowers because they were beautiful flowers. So yeah, in a way I don't regret any of the bad stuff that happened, because you never know what is going to change the course of your life, you know. So yeah, because I really like being with him, and I can't wait to marry him. And so there's so much more I could tell you in the, our course of our relationship, but it's just right now I got 4 years worth of relationship. Where do I sum it up to, So throughout all the videos, I will definitely let you, into our into our lives. But I think that was the basis. I can't think of anything that was major, you know. Yeah, I can't think of it. But if, of course, if I remember something, I will definitely put it in, and maybe you will meet him soon. Cause yeah, he doesn't really know I'm making these. Surprise, Kevin. You know. Yeah, but he's used to it by now. He's at work right now, and he always comes home from work, and I'm like, look what I did, honey, and he's like, okay, whatever makes you happy. He'll probably eventually, though, want me to do it in front of him, and that'll be the problem. Because I'm having enough trouble just talking to my computer, let alone with somebody watching me talk to my computer. But it makes me feel good about myself, so maybe it'll work out. Of course, I didn't even think, if you're watching this and you already know me, you technically already know all these, except for the ring, because I haven't told anybody the ring issue, because I felt bad, you know, nobody wants to hurt somebody they love, but like I said, he handled it in the way that I would not have expected, and I learned that when I want something, tell them I want it, don't try to plan it, because that's my problem. I make these memories in my head, I guess you would say. You know, like, I plan this big proposal in my head, and then when he can't read my mind, doesn't do the proposal, like, you know, if the guy doesn't like to sing, or, you know, doesn't believe he's a good singer, he's not really gonna, you know, take you to dinner and plan this big singing thing where, you know, all these people come out with flowers and balloons, you know, that kind of stuff. The thing that every girl does, but I do it to like a whole new extreme. Because, of course, when he doesn't do that, I'm disappointed. And he's like, but I just brought you 2 bouquets of flowers. Like, isn't that what you want? You know, so that's just something I have to work on. And I don't know, maybe somebody else out there does it too. And I'm not alone. I hope not. You know, but I've always done, you know, I want to plan this surprise party of my own surprise party. You know, it doesn't work like that. So, but in general, you know, we have to work through that, because I think that's how every relationship is, you know, you got to work through your issues. You know, you start out a certain way and you got to work through it. If that makes sense. That probably didn't make any sense, but alright, well, like I said, if I remember something important, I'll make another video and just kind of catch it up, you know. Thank you for watching this video, because this is going to be a long video. It's the 3rd take, and it's already 10 minutes, so I'm so sorry. Alright, thank you for watching.